This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Netflix. Coming up on Destructoid, the Microsoft Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Nintendo Wii U. We saw all of these funny little boxes at E3 last week. Now let's talk about them right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
And we're live!
Speak for yourself.
Well, yeah, drink more of this coffee.
It's very hot. I burned my tongue
You
before
got
the
enough
show.
in there?
It's overflowing.
Jeez.
That's why there's spills on it.
Well, yeah, it's nice that we managed to survive E3.
We're alive, sort of, yeah.
We brought a lot of news back with us.
We
A
did.
lot of it you've probably heard already, but we're going to sort of digest everything for you, our viewers.
Let's repeat ourselves.
Yes, let's start with Microsoft since they went first with the press conferences this year. I'm going to go ahead and assume, like I said, you guys know the basics. It's $499. It's going to launch in November. It's going to be bundled with Kinect. They've also confirmed that retail games are going to cost $59.99, which I know a lot of people were worried about. I was more interested in the games personally, which I can't deny. The Xbox One announced a lot of exclusives at E3 this year. We got more info on Rise, that Roman God of War-esque game that apparently involves a lot of optional QuickTime events. It wasn't really my particular cup of tea, but it is less Kinect heavy than I previously thought, which I'm sure it will please a lot of people. We also saw Quantum Break. I sat in on a presentation for this where it was described as an episodic time travel mystery, which sounds intriguing. There's also an in-game TV show that ties in with it. What? Very interesting. I also got to see Dead Rising 3, which looks to be moving away from the sort of wacky sense of humor of the previous games and more towards a sophisticated one. I don't know how that's gonna work because it's Dead Rising, but okay. And then there were some surprise announcements in there as well. We got a teaser for Halo 5, which I personally wasn't expecting. There's a new roguelike adventure game from Capybara called Below, which looks really good. And Insomniac's Sunset Overdrive, which is a cartoony-looking open-world shooter that actually looks pretty fun and silly. Of course, the big exclusive was Titanfall, the new multiplayer-only game from Respawn Entertainment, which won tons of Best of Show awards. It is hard to deny that this is a pretty-looking game, but you know, it's hard to objectively comment on how it plays given my distaste for multiplayer games and the fact that I didn't actually play it. We just sat in a presentation room while somebody else played it.
We sure did.
I will say, though, that Adam Sessler loved it, and he chose it as his personal pick for E3 Game of Show, so seems pretty good. Overall, I wasn't really terribly impressed by a lot of the exclusives that Microsoft had to offer. And yeah, for a lot of the games, it's still too early to judge, but it definitely seems like they are catering to a specific crowd given their focus on sports and multiplayer games. I don't know, what do you guys think? Were there any exclusives that piqued your interest? Anything you're excited about? Let us know in the comments.
Now, I'm sure by now that some of you have actually chimed in the comments about how much you hate the Xbox One. They don't have nice things to say, Tara. They're all very upset.
Only for us.
The internet hates the Xbox One because they're angry. But let me soothe your tempers, internet, and give you a PS4 wrap-up. Well, first of all, the PlayStation 4, it looks like a big black prism rhombus thing. Show us a picture of it. Up there. Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like a squished PlayStation 2. It's going to cost $399, $100 less than the Xbox One, though it's probably worth noting that we're pretty sure that doesn't include the PlayStation Eye, which will be sold separately, so they might wind up being about the same price. Anyway, in addition to that, online multiplayer will now cost money, which some people are butthurt about, but a PlayStation Plus membership will continue to allow access to free games, including the new PS4 title Drive Club, which is a car game. On top of that, the PS4 won over a ton of people by announcing that there will be no always online DRM and that it will support used games and that it will be region free. Of course, publishers may still choose to include online passes, which some people are upset about because people like to get upset about things, but which seems to mean that Sony will be phasing theirs out since online play is going to be behind a paywall anyway. But if other publishers want to be like, hey, you can't resell this, we're dicks, then they can do that. But it looks like Sony's kind of trying to take our side here. Anyway, along with the PS4, we got shown a decent offering of games. Brand new surprise announcements included Mad Max from the Just Cause 2 devs, Avalanche Studios. We had sort of had a feeling that was coming. There's also a brand new IP called The Order 1866, which looks like a steampunk werewolf hunting game about stagecoaches in London. A million weeaboos cried out in joy as Square Enix announced that Final Fantasy XIII Versus was alive and well, but it's now renamed Final Fantasy XV, and it looks very pretty, though I have no idea how you play it. And Kingdom Hearts 3 was revealed, which people seem very happy about because they like Kingdom Hearts. As far as stuff we knew about already goes, we got a nice big helping of Destiny gameplay. Finally, I think this is the proper reveal we were hoping for. We were kind of waiting for them to actually show us the damn game instead of just standing around with their dumb jeans and blazers on. Though the demo they showed did have some dumb commentary. We also got word that the Elder Scrolls Online will be coming to consoles, and that Diablo 3 will have PlayStation 4 exclusive items as well as an offline mode, which is kind of funny. Yeah, that game came out last year.
Late.
Yeah, oh yeah. But overall, there's some other stuff. There was some, there's some Watch Dogs, and there was some Killzone, and there's just things in there, and it's just, I feel like they showed us the bulk of the kind of reveal stuff, like Knack and things like that back at the PS4 reveal. So I think Sony definitely had less surprise behind them than the Microsoft thing, but they definitely came out on top, and people seemed pretty happy about them.
Especially as far as hardware goes.
Oh yeah.
Well, we can't forget about Nintendo. They didn't have a press conference this year, but there was still plenty going on at their booth. One of the bigger announcements, of course, was Super Smash Bros. 4, which series creator Masahiro Sakurai says will strike a balance between the competitive side of Super Smash Bros. Melee and the casual aspect of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. There's also no tripping anymore, which I'm sure some of you will be happy about. And unfortunately, Nintendo has confirmed that there is going to be no cross-platform play between the 3DS and the Wii U version. So they have different levels and stages, apparently. We also found out the 3 new characters, which are Mega Man, the Villager from Animal Crossing, and Wii Fit Trainer. Yes, you heard that correctly. So Super Mario 3D World was another surprise announcement, as the name implies. This takes a lot of cues from Super Mario 3D Land, but the major distinction is that you get to wear a cat suit and climb up walls and scratch people, and it's adorable, and I love it. Mario Kart 8 was unveiled as well. For the first time ever, the series is going to be introducing anti-gravity, which seems pretty neat. That's scheduled for a spring 2014 release. Slightly earlier than that, we are going to be getting Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. This is fairly similar to the Donkey Kong Country Return, same developers. It's going to have two-player co-op and dynamic camera angles.
Wow, that sure is the retro game we were hoping for.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to see really so far how different it is, but that's due out at the end of the year. Apart from that, they showed off some other games that we already knew were happening. We were only able to play a couple of them. Like, I got to check out the Donkey Kong and the Super Mario 3D World, which I really enjoyed. You saw Yoshi's Island, right?
I did. It wasn't that great. It's really, I mean, they kind of scrapped the whole cutesy, cutout look that the original Yoshi's Island has, and gave it this kind of gross, like, sort of 3D pre-rendered looking thing, like. And otherwise, then there's not a whole lot new there. There's big eggs, and the controls don't feel as good as they do on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
maybe I'm just old.
Tony Ponce wrote up an article about that on Destructoid 2. I don't think he was overly impressed either.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they had some other stuff. They had Wind Waker HD.
Oh, I wanted to play that,
Yeah.
but there were goddamn people in front of me in the line. It was like going to a birthday party and everyone was playing Pin the Tail on the Donkey. You want to play it, but you can't. Anyway, this was a great E3, and a ton of exciting stuff came trickling out of it. It was an exciting year after these past couple where it's kind of been, end of an overstaying its welcome console generation. So having new stuff is very cool. My personal favorite announcement to come out of E3 was probably Sunset Overdrive, and we talked about that for a second. But as lukewarm as I am about the Xbox One, this is like everything I was excited about for Overstrike that apparently got sucked out of Fuse and put into this game. It's Insomniac Games doing this, and it looks just so stupid and loud and neon and exciting and fun and just all the dumb 90s garbage that I like in a video game. So
am I crazy, or were there less like silly fun games at E3 this year? Like, I thought Dead Rising 3 was going to be one of those, and then it's all like, oh, just kidding, here's 10 Shades of Brown, I
feel like you just described gaming for the last decade or so. My personal game of the show that wasn't playable was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which, well, if you're not up to date on The Witcher, it doesn't really matter because you can kind of jump right in with this one, but they've taken the game from being kind of a fairly linear, not linear exactly, but, not open world, and now it's open world, so, commence making comparisons to Skyrim, though this is totally apples and oranges. Game looks incredible, really excited about that one, especially so that CD Projekt Red can finish it and then make Cyberpunk 2077. As far as games I got to play Lego Marvel Superheroes, which I realize this seems dumb wrong, but I feel like TT Games, they take the Lego things and they're very competent. They're obviously for kids, and they kind of crank them out, and we can kind of just like phone them in and be like, so what? They're kind of simplistic, but they manage to really improve every time they make a game. And I'm a big Marvel fan and a big Lego fan, so seeing them make this massive, awesome new game with both franchises is really cool.
Yeah.
It's got double the roster of little characters you can be compared to the DC Superheroes one, which people I know really liked. There's like 150 little Lego guys you can be, and you can customize them, which is cute as hell.
I love the Lego games.
Yeah.
They're so undeniably cute.
What about you? What'd you like?
My favorite announcement was probably Mirror's Edge 2, or Mirror's Edge, I guess is what we're calling it. This is actually an origin story, so it's more of a reboot than a proper sequel. DICE says that the game is open world, and they do not plan to de-emphasize the parkour and turn it into some boring action shooter, which makes me particularly happy, as well as you, I'm sure. That is going to be out, they said, when it's ready on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. My favorite non-playable game that I saw has to be The Witness. This is Jonathan Blow's new open-world puzzle adventure game. He's the guy who made Braid. This is actually my pick for Best of E3, as it seems to be sort of straying away from a lot of the typical adventure game conventions, like excessive hand-holding and not knowing what you're supposed to do. Like, the rules are incredibly simple, but it starts to get a little bit more complicated as you go on. I'm really excited for that. It's a hard game to describe if you haven't actually seen it. But that is a timed PS4 exclusive, and that is supposed to be out later this year. I hope it doesn't get delayed. The best playable game that I saw is Contrast, which I hadn't even heard of before this. This is a Steam Greenlight game, apparently. It's from Compulsion Games. It's being published by Focus, and it's a really unique puzzle platformer with an overlaying 20s cabaret theme. You play as the imaginary friend of a little girl who's sort of going through some family problems, and you sort of provide support for her. And the cool mechanic is that you can become your shadow, and then you can sort of absorb yourself into the wall and use other shadows as platforming surfaces.
Oh.
So it's a very unique puzzle mechanic that I have not seen in a game before. In fact, I feel like there were a lot of unique games at E3 this year. Yeah. A lot of good stuff this year. I'm really, really happy.
It's fun to be excited about games again.
It is. Yeah. I know. This has been the most exciting. I'm afraid it's all just going to be downhill from here. Yep. I don't know. Maybe next year is going to be better because they'll actually know how to leverage a lot of the technology that they announced this year. On that note, we are going to be back in just a second to run down Destructoid.com's Best of E3 awards. But first, a word from our sponsor. You guys watch TV, right? Of course you do. But what if there was a better way to do it? Well, with Netflix, there is. Netflix streams your favorite movies and TV shows directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle, and you can watch unlimited amounts. It's like Christmas, but without all the family arguments. All you need to get started is a Netflix-enabled device, like a home computer, a video game console, an iPad, a smartphone, just about anything with access to the internet, which is a lot of stuff these days, as it turns out. For a limited time, Netflix is offering all Destructoid viewers their own free trial membership. Just visit netflix.com/Destructoid and sign up. And remember, Netflix is not just for us stateside, it's also available overseas. So you guys can get in on the same free trial. Just hit up netflix.com/Destructoid, and it should redirect for your home country.
Go watch a movie, guys.
Go watch a movie. You're probably sick of games by now, right?
You damn right. Anyway, back to the games. Oh, goody. Destructoid gave out their Best of E3 awards, and I will now list them off to you in list form, because the best PC game was Total War Rome 2. The best PS3 game was Rain. Best portable game was Tearaway.
Oh man, I want to play Tearaway so bad.
Best action adventure went to Bayonetta 2, even though she got a haircut, which I'm not that into. Best strategy also went to Total War Rome 2, and best shooter was Titanfall. Best platformer was Disney Infinity, which I played a little bit. It's very cool. Best role-playing game, again, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Best sports game was NHL 14. Best MMO was Final Fantasy 14 A Realm Reborn. Best racing game was Need for Speed Rivals. And the game of the show for the 2013 E3 Destructoid Best of E3 Awards goes to Titanfall.
Titanfall.
Get inside that robot, guys, and don't forget to jetpack out of it if you get shot with the machine gun bazookas. Video games.
That's just good advice for everyone.
Yep.
And that concludes our post-E3 wrap-up. Feel free to go follow us on Twitter if you'd like. I am Tara Longest. He is Max Scoville, and the show is Detoid Show. We are going to be back here on Friday for our weekly live show that is happening at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time right here on youtube.com/Detoid. And of course, if you want more expanded news on any of the topics we just talked about or anything that happened at E3 really, hit up Destructoid.com. They have it all.
Go read a website, guys.
Have a great week, and we will see you back here on Friday. I missed you.